I think the Black community has a very hard time with respect. In fact, we're a very disrespectful community. We celebrate being disrespectful. We're anti-establishment. F the police, right? Call the females bitches, right? How can our youth flourish when we're teaching and promoting and celebrating and applauding disrespect? Disrespect is rioting. Disrespect is burning down a neighborhood that had nothing to do with George Floyd. Disrespect is killing a police officer that has nothing to do with George Floyd. And we don't have celebrities standing up and saying it's wrong in our community.
Jay-Z could tell people not to wear a jersey anymore and put on a button up, and people do it. That's the same way now. When you look at it, we don't have, like you mentioned him earlier, at least he was, even through the music, even though he talked about his past and his life, at least he still kind of gave some positive things into the music. Now it's just do drugs, you know, get high, shoot people, like do, and I'm like, because even in Brooklyn right now, when you look, the crime rate is going up in Brooklyn. We've had, the other day, there was literally 7 shootings in 10 minutes. Like, I'm talking about different areas in Brooklyn. So it's like, what influenced that? When you look at the lifestyle of Chicago, we done took in the whole drill music, and into, as soon as that we got that into our community, the gang violence shot up extremely. But it's all about being cool. And it's like, you willing to die to be cool?
It's so funny you say that because so I was just telling you offline that I added an addendum to my book on culture. And I literally said, Black America has a problem with wanting to be cool. I used the exact word. And there's a quote in that chapter that I want to bring up, which was a quote that was written by Confucius, who was a Chinese philosopher. I think it was like he was a Chinese philosopher from 440 BC, I mean, long time ago. And he said, if one should desire to know whether a kingdom is well governed, if its morals are good or bad, the quality of the music will furnish the answer. And when I read that quote, I instantly thought about Black America and the quality of the music, right? What you're putting in your ear is going to tell you whether or not the morals in this community are good and bad. And I talked about the irony that, you know, today people will say, they have this concept of what acting Black is, right? And that this is what it means to be Black. And you, therefore, Candace, are not Black because you're speaking proper English, right? Because you're not interested in having fights, you know, because you don't have baby daddies and all this stuff going on. And the thing is I say, actually, I'm very Black. I just don't recognize this decade of being Black, because this is not what Black was in the 1940s. This is not what Black was in the 1950s. This is not when my grandfather was listening to music. The number one song was The Temptations. My Girl, right? I write about this in the chapter. The first words of My Girl, I got sunshine on a cloudy day, and when it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. And then I looked at the top song right now in Black America, and it's Megan Thee Stallion and Beyonce. And the first lyrics are like, I'm that bitch, I'm this bitch. Wait. And I'm thinking, this happened in the span of 40 years, right? 40 years. So what happened to Black culture?
And I mean, that is what happened to Black culture. Because once it became like you have to live a certain type of way, now it's like there's no other way to live. It's like, and we congratulate stupidity in the Black community. Like, the more stupid you are, it's like, yeah. And I tell people, I was like, why do you think kids didn't want to grow up going to school? Because going to school, you became a nerd. It's like, they don't respect you. Like, oh, look at you. And you can just tell, even when it comes to like, people coming home from jail compared to somebody that's coming home from college. You see the difference in love and respect. And you know who gets it? The guy that comes home from jail.